Taiwan business entity comparison. Now we assume that you already decided to set up a business entity in Taiwan. The next question is, what kind of business should I choose? Firstly, you need to decide whether to set up a separate legal business entity in Taiwan or not. If you want to set up a separate legal entity, you can choose limited company and limited company by shares. If not, you can choose branch or representative office. Later, we will discuss what the difference is. This is a comprehensive table to compare 4 Taiwan business entities: limited company, branch, limited company by shares, and representative office, or usually we call rep office. Usually, small and medium-sized investors would choose limited company and branch because they are easy to set up for business in Taiwan. And let's walk through the requirement one by one. Minimum capital. Technically, there is no regulation about the minimum capital, which means you can set up a company with only 1 Taiwan dollars. However, we would not suggest you really register a company with 1 Taiwan dollars for capital, because there is another rule mentioned that the capital should be able to cover the initial operating costs. Therefore, we usually suggest a suitable capital amount, like 200,000 Taiwan dollars. It's around 7,000 US dollars as the initial capital for your Taiwan company. And for rep office, there is no need for capital. Business scope. You need to design the business activity before you start the incorporation process. If you want to do certain specific business, such as travel agency, construction, or logistics company, and then you will need to apply for special license before start to run your business in Taiwan. Rep office is a different case. A rep office cannot do the sales activities, which means cannot generate any revenue. Based on our experience, some investors still choose the rep office to be set up because they will only do some business activities such as market research or sign contract on behalf of the headquarters. Actually, the business scope is really important, and you need to decide in the very beginning, because different industry will be subject to different local regulations. For example, if you want to set up a drug or medical company, you will need to hire a full-time licensed pharmacist and join the local drug association. Different industry may subject to different regulation. Before you start the incorporation, we can discuss with you about the business scope and provide suggestions to you. Next, the minimum requirement is about the management members. For limited company, at least 1 individual or entity shareholder, at least 1 shareholder, at least 1 director, and the shareholder can be director. For branch, 1 representative is required. For limited company by shares, at least 1 individual or entity shareholder, at least 1 director. If there are 2 or more shareholders, 1 supervisor will be required. For rep office, only 1 representative is required. You may also wonder whether the representative or director need to stay in Taiwan, the answer is no. No need to stay in Taiwan. And about the limited liability, the shareholders of limited company and limited company by shares are only responsible for the capital amount they invested. But for branch and rep office, the representative and headquarters are responsible for the whole obligation of the Taiwan entity. Next one is about the audit requirement. There are two kinds of audit in Taiwan: financial audit and tax audit. Usually, a small and medium-sized Taiwan entity do not require an audit until its capital, sales, or number of employees meet certain level. The corporate income tax rate in Taiwan is a fixed rate at 20% for all the Taiwan entities. And about the business tax, Taiwan is using the VAT system, and the VAT rate is 5% in general. For rep office, because it does not have any sales, so not subject to VAT or income tax. Last one is about the withholding tax for dividends and profit distribution. If your Taiwan entity earns profit, the dividends paid to shareholders will be subject to 21% withholding tax for limited company and limited company by shares. It is a fixed rate. And for branch and rep office, there is no withholding tax. Here we choose the most common business type, limited company and branch, as the example, so you can see the difference more clear. Registration form. A limited company is a legal entity separated from its investor, and a branch is an extension and is not separate from its headquarters. About the company name. A limited company must include the words limited company in the end of company name. And for a branch, it must include the words Taiwan branch in the end of branch name. The management member we already discussed before. A foreigner can be the shareholder and director, and no need to stay in Taiwan. Time frame. It will normally take 3 months to set up an entity in Taiwan because it is need to open a new bank account and the capital need to be transferred from the investor's overseas bank account. The time frame here is just for general cases, and for cases if special license is required, the time usually will be much longer, depends on the additional documentation to be prepared. About the investor liability. Limited company's shareholder is liable for the capital amount they invested, but for a branch, only need to bear the branch need to bear the unlimited liability. Dividend distributed by a limited company will be subject to 21% withholding tax. And for a branch, there is no withholding tax. Okay, until now, I hope you can well understand the difference of business entity in Taiwan. And if you have any question, you can send us an email anytime after the webinar.